Jai. So we're continuing to read the teachings of Lord Kapila, the book by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Chapter 14, Bhakti as Ultimate Liberation. Continuing text number 31, purport. Bhakti Yoga is at the top of the stairs of all the yogas. The first step is Karma Yoga, and then Jnana Yoga and Dhyana Yoga. But the ultimate is Bhakti Yoga. Everyone is trying to reach the ultimate absolute truth, but the other yogas end in partial understanding. The understanding derived from Bhakti Yoga is complete, and even if partially executed, it has potency. It is also recommended by the great Mahajanas like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Kapila Deva. Since the path of perfection is very difficult to understand, the Shastras recommend that we follow the Mahajanas, who are thus described in Srimad-Bhagavatam 6.3.20. Swayambhur Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manu Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Balir Vaya Sakir Vayam. Another name for Lord Brahma is Swayambhu, because he was born from a lotus flower emanating from the navel of Lord Vishnu. Since he was not born of a father and a mother, he is therefore called Swayambhu. Narada Muni is also a Mahajana, and Shambhu is Lord Shiva. Kumara refers to the four Kumaras: Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumar. There are 12 authorities following the Sankhya philosophy or Bhakti Yoga, and these include Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Kapila Deva, Manu, Bhishma Dev, Janak Maharaj, Shukadeva Goswami, and Prahlada Maharaj. If we simply accept one of these Mahajanas, we will be successful in understanding the absolute truth. But if we try to understand the absolute truth by logic and argument, we will ultimately be frustrated. One philosopher may be a better logician than another, and one philosophical argument may counteract another. But this process goes on and on. It is simply a waste of time. Even if we approach Vedic scriptures, there are difficulties. There are so many scriptures: Yajurveda, Rigveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda, the Upanishads, the Puranas, Brahma Sutra, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and so forth. Different people read them and arrive at different conclusions. There are also the Bible and the Quran. According to so many different men, there are so many interpretations. One philosopher defeats another philosopher on the basis of scripture. It is even stated that one cannot become a rishi, a philosopher, unless one propounds a different system of philosophy. Na savrishir yasya matam nabhinam. Thus, the truth of spiritual life is very complicated and difficult to understand. The conclusion is that one should follow one of the 12 Mahajanas in order to be successful. Krishna is the original Mahajana, and he instructed Lord Brahma Lord Brahma is also a Mahajana. Actually, Krishna instructed everyone in Bhagavad Gita, and thus everyone has learned from Krishna. In Srimad-Bhagavatam 1.1.1, it is also stated, Teine Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. Thus Krishna gives his personal instructions just as Kapila Deva gave his personal instructions. There is no contradiction between Krishna's philosophy in Bhagavad Gita and Kapila Deva's philosophy here. We need only receive the transcendental knowledge through the Mahajanas, and the results will be beneficial. Kapila Deva explained this Sankhya philosophy to his mother, and although he had natural affection for his mother, we should not think that Devahuti was an ordinary woman. She was very submissive, and when Kapila Deva saw this, he became very compassionate. He saw that she was eager to know about the absolute truth, and he considered that, after all, he had received his body from her. Therefore, he concluded that he should try to give her the ultimate conclusion of Vedic knowledge, which is this Sankhya philosophy. Jai, I love Sankhya philosophy. I love this portion of Srimad-Bhagavatam deeply. Here we go. Text 32. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Devanam Gunalinganam Anushravika Karmanam Sattva Evaika Vrityar Svabhaviki Tuya Animitta Bhagavati Bhakti Siddher Gariyasi. Translation. Lord Kapila Deva said, the senses are symbolic representations of the demigods, and their natural inclination is to work under the direction of the Vedic injunctions. As the senses are representatives of the demigods, so the mind is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The mind's natural duty is to serve. When that spirit of service is engaged in devotion to the Personality of Godhead without any motive, that is far better than salvation. Purport. The senses of the living entity are always engaged in some occupation, either in activities prescribed in the Vedic injunctions or in material activities. The natural inclination of the senses is to work for something, and the mind is the center of the senses. The mind is actually the leader of the senses. Therefore, it is called Sattva. Similarly, the leader of all the demigods who are engaged in the activities of the material world, in managing the sun, moon, etc., is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is stated in the Vedic literature that the demigods are different limbs of the universal body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Our senses are also controlled by different demigods. About this we shall read tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in today. The link to this book is in the description. Please check out our website shravanamdiaries.com, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Jai.